When you were growing up, did you ever feel any pressure to be masculine or to be something that you're not?
I definitely felt a lot of pressure growing up to be a certain way, as like in terms of masculinity. Like, so my dad was in the Navy, and when you're in the Navy, you have to move every 2 to 3 years. So when I was like 12, I had cornrows, and I was really pretty. I was a really pretty boy. So I had like long eyelashes, cornrows, and a lot of people thought I was a girl. So they would come up and address me like, "Oh, you're a pretty young lady." I had a mustache too. I'm like, "Yo, chill." So I was get this, and for some reason I was like not. I wasn't like upset about it, but my grandfather. I was working with my grandfather in the summer. He sells used restaurant equipment, so I feel like it was his duty to teach me manhood as he knew it, as like someone that grew up in the 30s. He didn't know his father. He was one of 12. He was homeless at a certain point, so he had a whole different viewpoint of what masculinity was. So I remember like the whole time of this trip, you really should cut your hair. He's like, or just like kind of like really trying to prop me up to be like whatever his version of masculinity was. For some reason I didn't really buy it. I just didn't, like, I could see the fragility with him and like some of his trauma, even as a young person. So I never really like gave in to that. I kept my hair long. The idea of like being challenged when I was younger to fight people, I was always like, when I was like in first grade, there was a bully and he punched me in the stomach. I was like, oh, I ran away, I ran home, and my sister was like, nobody messes with my brother. And she punched him and he fell back. So I was like, she was like the more like, violent one and that, or aggressive one in that family. So I was just never really maybe prescribed to it. But that's not to say it didn't give me like a sense of shame or a sense of like, I guess like sadness or like kind of dealing like, who am I? Should I be more masculine? I remember I took like Taekwondo just so I can like figure that out. And it's just like, oh, actually I'm not like a violent person. I had to come to these realizations of like who I am and why I'm this way. Maybe it's okay to be a little bit like softer. Like, I don't need to fight anybody to prove that I'm stronger than them or that I'm like cooler than them. Like, if this is what cool is this what masculinity is? I'm like, I don't really want to be a part of that. Let me just like kind of figure out who I am first.
I'm always angry. I'm angry with the decay around me. I'm angry with how weak I always feel. And I'm most angry with how passive I am to all of it.
How did I deal with anger? I think I expressed it a lot in high school. And then in college, I made art. And then later, I did a lot of drugs. And that was a whole nother thing.
Would you be comfortable expanding on that a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What's your relationship? Or what was your relationship with drugs?
It is a was. Because I've been sober for over 18 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I'd be dead. I'd for real be dead. Especially now with fentanyl and everything else, I'd be dead 100 times over. So I was straight edge. Like, we were all straight edge and vegan, right? And then I wasn't vegan because and then I kind of lost the edge, which was like, I was the bad kid in the band. Kind of secretly at first. But then, for me, I was straight edge, and like, that was another thing that we were kind of anti. We were defining ourselves a lot of times as either against or by not doing something, by being abstinent from something. Like, we don't eat meat, we don't, I eat everything now, and but I guess I'm straight edge again. But not in the same way. It's sort of an ideological thing at that time. So I guess I did that for a bunch of years, and then when I was 22, I decided, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do this other thing. I'm gonna do a bunch of drugs and figure that out. And so a lot of people started doing drugs when they were teenagers. I met a lot of people that are in meetings and AA meetings and things like that, which I go to, I'm sure. Excellent. And save my life. Some people have that path, you know. And I avoided it because of being straight edge and all that. By the time I was 22, I caught up with all those kids like day one of doing that, and I went pretty hard into like that rock and roll myth, and that's also part of that masculinity, you know. It's like, because those heroes change over time, right? And maybe we were looking at like, okay, the like punk rock guys and guys in Fugazi and all of this, and eventually it was like, it kind of changed, and it was like I was saying, it was like Bowie and stuff, and then it was like, okay, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and what are they doing, and you know, what was Bowie doing in the later 70s? So we were looking all that kind of lore and stuff, but and then I tried to very much emulate and kind of not just emulate but live that life, and I definitely did. And so, you know, I was an everyday heroin addict for 7 years, a bunch of years. You know, for a while, the drugs and the drinking and the partying and all that kind of rock and roll lifestyle thing was fun, but it went down exactly where it always goes down, which is a really dark path that is one of, for me, it was kind of like I guess I'll back up a minute. You know, if we're talking about the masculinity thing or whatever you think of as that, I had kind of made up a character that was this musician character. And that character was very much a mix of all of those things, Rolling Stones and the rock stars and all those other kind of fuck-ups who somehow made drugs and drinking and partying all part of their like myth. And that character almost killed me.
I saw the death of malls, the rise of the internet, and the American dream deconstructed in front of my eyes. I painted my nails, I buzzed my hair, and I wore gold chains. I spent years trying to find beauty in everything that was ugly, but I finally realized my anger, my wasted years, and my passion is what makes me beautiful.